right, so this is a bit of a longer video. It's about 27 minutes long. And I wanted to show a different part of my reactions. I like politics, but I also like lots of just life. I love discussion. I love talking, man. I love talking about important stuff. I'm going to try not to pause too often because the video is 27 minutes long. But this is Jubilee's Is the Idea of Virginity Outdated? Virgins versus non-virgins. And I think it's always important, and it's under talked about nowadays. So we'll go to it. Let's go. Who cares? I don't care. Yep.
I started poking her, just joking around. That's just how I am, you know. She took my hand and she licked my finger.
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
COVID.
what do you think we're doing around? We're just chilling, like.
I got right into it.
I am a virgin because I am asexual and haven't really had a desire to have sex yet.
Being a virgin is really important to me because
Wait, what? Hold on. So she's a virgin because she's asexual? What? What?
COVID.
What do you think we're doing around? We're just chilling, like.
I am a virgin because I am asexual and haven't really had a desire to have sex yet.
Okay,
being a virgin is
Dude, that's for animals, bro. That's not for animals. That's for bacteria. Asexual.
really important to me because it's a significant part of my religion.
I think there's definitely a lot of assumptions made about people who are virgins. I think my favorite one is the idea that people think you can look like a virgin.
My friends have always been wanting me to lose it. My friend wanted me to have sex with his cousin.
If you had your virginity intact still, in my high school environment, they sort of just ignored you.
When people heard like through the grapevine, oh, that so-and-so had sex, it was always seen as a bad thing.
It is mandatory that we keep ourselves pure until marriage.
I lost my virginity at 15 at a party in a garage.
Hey, I'm Brie. I'm a musician and content creator.
Nice.
Hi! Hi guys, my name is Rahan and I'm a virgin.
My name's Skylar. I'm just a normal dude, and I'm a virgin.
Hi, I'm Kiani. I'm an artist, and I am also getting a degree in marine biology, and I am a non-virgin.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I study psychology and theater, and I am a non-virgin.
I'm Nico. I'm 19, and I'm really scared my mom's gonna see this.
No, same.
That was solid,
If you agree with
truthful,
the
right there.
statement,
Some
please
truth
walk to the circle. I feel or felt ready to lose my virginity.
For me, I guess I've always been ready. I just never really found the right person, and I'm not someone that's very. It doesn't really matter who it is, but I just want there to be some sort of connection between us. I don't want it. I'm not just gonna like hit it and just like, all right, you could go home, kick them out, you know.
That makes sense. I mean, at the time, you feel ready, cause they're like, she look good, I look good. It's time. It's time. It's,
Okay.
I'm ready.
Was it with? Did you know the person?
That's a solid, truthful saying there. The idea that at the time you feel ready. At the time you feel ready to lose your virginity because it's hot, or the person you're with is hot, or you don't have. There's a little check in your spirit where your morals kind of get put aside for the immediate gratification of, you know, being able to sleep with a person that's interesting to you. But it's important what he was saying. He was saying past tense. At the time, is it something later on that you regret? Maybe. You never know. But I think that's, yeah. I'll let them finish before I say anything else.
Person for a good while before you guys.
I knew her for a time. I wish I knew her longer. It was my first high school party. The whole time I was feeling like, dang, this is my first time. I don't know what to do. It was like I don't know what to do. She looks nice. Did she expect me to do everything? Like it was a lot of stress. I just remember it being super stressful.
Yeah.
I think I was sweating, and then like I wasn't even sweating because of sex. I was just sweating. Like I couldn't even put the condom on right. It was like.
So the question was, do you feel ready to lose your virginity? And for myself, I am not ready because I am Muslim, and technically you're only allowed to lose your virginity or be intimate with anyone once you're married. So I am not married, nor am I in a relationship, or have I ever been in a relationship. So I am just saving everything until marriage. So once I get to that point in my life, then I'd be ready to do that the right way.
Hey, it's a solid thing. She's Muslim, I'm Christian, so we don't agree on everything in that regard. But it is, I mean, both religions, they take the idea of virginity very seriously. I think, I don't want to go into that too much, but it's a solid response. Like, I think it's according to our religion, save yourself for marriage. There's various reasons for that, not just biblical. And I might go into it a little bit more as we go through. They might mention it. But yeah, it's also chemical. So
Way with my partner.
When I first lost my virginity, I remember it was like talking to a guy for a couple days on Tinder. He was just like, I have a place. Do you want to come over? It finally happened. We get into the room and it just sort of starts happening. And I was just like, take a deep breath, ask him if he has a condom.
Right.
And then let's just do this. And it happened. He was apparently so high that he had forgotten that he had sex with me in the first place.
Oh my God.
I got a text message the next day being like, there's Carl's Jr. in my fridge. What did we do?
Oh my God.
I was just like, I can't do this. No, I need to find somebody else.
Yeah.
That can really hurt.
Do you
see, okay, she's actually gonna ask that right now, and my guess is she's about to ask, do you regret it? My guess is she's gonna say yes to that instance, no to the idea of losing your virginity. I think for sure she regrets it. You could see it, like just in the way she was telling the story. We can't hide everything when we're telling a story, and the way her face fell, like just the idea, the regret that came with that. Obviously, there's side things like, oh, he was high afterwards, but I don't think that's what started the regret, if that makes sense. It seemed like they didn't really have a relationship going on much, and she had to talk herself through it. Why? It is a scary thing, maybe the first time, but it shouldn't be.
regret your decision at all, or are you like, you're good with it, the way it happened?
It wasn't my favorite experience, but I don't regret it. I gave my consent. I went through it, and I was just like, okay, I understand what I want now.
For me, it was not completely consensual, so it wasn't really my choice. He was like kind of threatening to like break up with me if I didn't. I was just like, well, I love him so much and I don't want him to feel like I don't love him. And so I ended up doing it. And to be honest, like I don't remember much in the experience just because like I dissociated a lot. I was like trying to protect myself. But I don't regret it because I did my best with what I had, and like it's just like I don't think I could have changed anything because I vocalized like when I was uncomfortable, and he didn't really care. So
That's rough. That's rough. I think that happens a lot more than people let on, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's a lot like how the majority even of virginities are lost. With this idea that the man who is very sexually driven is going to just say, oh yeah, I'm going to break up with you if you don't do what I want you to do. The problem is, if they ever get to that point, if a man ever gets to the point where he's willing to break up with you if you don't give him what he wants, as soon as you give him what he wants, he's going to break up with you. He's already passed that wall, okay? And now he just wants what he came there for, which is disgusting. It's so sad that that's the case. And she said she doesn't regret it. I think she does, clearly. Because it sucks. It sucks that she gave it to a man that really didn't love her for who she was. He just wanted some action, and that's sad.
I definitely was not ready, but I do have a better relationship with sex now. And I've made like a lot of progress too.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
Healing.
Happy.
Thanks.
I'd rather you have a better relationship with the person than sex itself, because that'll always come hand in hand. It will come hand in hand. Like this whole idea of I think it's stupid. I don't think it's not biblical. I don't think it's true either. The whole idea of sexual chemistry and needing to try out people before you get married and whatnot, because you don't know if they're going to be very good and whatnot. Dude, if you love the person, the chemicals come with it, and the sex comes with it. Okay, and the desire for you both to have fun and you both to enjoy it is there. It's not just I'm going to dominate and then you're going to react, or you're just going to pleasure me. It's a mutual thing.
It feels weird to be like, that happened for a reason, because like in a way that would almost excuse his behavior.
Yeah.
And I know
No,
like
it's not.
with like good intentions, like everything does happen for a reason. I totally believe that too.
Yeah.
And I did learn a lot from it, and I don't think I'd be here like talking about it if it didn't happen. So
Right.
I get like how the universe works, and like, it's just how it happened.
It just
but
happened, yeah.
It wasn't the universe. It was some jackass that wanted to put himself over you to get what he wanted. It's not the universe. It didn't happen for a reason. It happened for his reason.
I was taught what consent looks like. Okay. Can
That's
I
it.
have all my disagreeers please come forward?
I'm stopping a lot already, but it's fun. It's fine. Whatever. Who cares? I'm like 4 minutes past what they are on the video. I'm curious what they're going to blame. They're probably going to blame the school. It's not the school. It's the parents. It's the parents. The parents should be teaching consent, and the parents should be teaching how it's all should be done. I actually disagree with the idea of school sex ed. I think it's the parents' responsibility. Why is the school being expected to do what you should be doing as a parent? You signed up for it. It's your kids. Teach them the way you want to teach them, but teach them right.
Funny seeing you guys all here. Love our society and school system.
In sex ed, we were taught how to put a condom on, what chlamydia is, what AIDS is. You're taught everything except you guys even want to do it, you know?
It's a great point.
Okay, so I went to an all-girls private school, and then
And that's something that's actually changed over time too. It used to be the main thing you pushed was hey, save yourself, don't. But if you do, here's how. And now it's, oh, this is how to prevent from STDs, and some schools, this is how you do it, and this is how you do blowjobs, and this is how you put on a condom, dude. Yeah, go to the root of it, not the symptoms of it.
But I was just like so over talking to different police officers. I was just like, this is too much. So I just left it at that. So I think what's wrong is the fact that no one can agree what consent looks like what the green lights are, what the red lights are, and just like even a yellow light, that should be stopped.
That makes a lot of
That's
sense.
really well said.
Yeah.
I learned that whenever something happens, I kind of freeze. And I was assaulted at one point. It was during a dance. Those dances, I do admit, they kind of turned into a grind fest.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's all fun and everything like that. But then this one guy who I was with started getting very touchy with me. And it's very cramped. Like, I try to move, somebody pushes me back. I can't, like, leave. So first thing that happens to me is, like, my body sort of freezes. And it was kind of like should I let him keep going? Should I keep playing until I have an out? And my mind was kind of racing, but I was kind of frozen at the same time.
I think there's a conversation in America that we are not willing to have for whatever reason, and that is that a huge step in like preventing sexual assault is mitigation. Mitigation as in like not being at places that this happens. It doesn't excuse the man at all. I think it's so dumb when men do that. It's so bad, it's evil. But also, don't be in a place like if you there's the whole like, okay, if I was to take $100 bill and throw it up in my hands and run down an alley and get robbed, yes, obviously it was the robber's fault, but also I was being stupid. Don't go to clubs like that. There's gonna be a lot of grinding and you're not wanting to do that. If you don't go to the clubs because that could happen, and that's terrible. But don't be there. Don't be there in the first place.
Time. And then finally, he took my hand, took me out of the crowd, and started walking towards the bathrooms. I just ran off, and I went and found my friend
Solid.
group, and I was just like, he
Great.
thought I was consenting. That was definitely not it. So it definitely was kind of hard to figure out the idea of concept at the time.
Yeah.
It sounds like he just assumed, and
Yeah.
that you should never assume someone has consent.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry that happened.
Yeah, and especially I was a sophomore at the time, and I was definitely very much a virgin, so I was just like, no way in hell am I doing this right now.
I also wish, with the previous girl, she was saying that she went to the police officers and was trying to like put down a report on what happened. I wish that was more streamlined. I think it is when it's real, like when it's true. It is. There's a fear of it being too much or people looking at you bad or whatever that stops, for various reasons, that stops them from pursuing that sexual assault case or rape case or whatever it was. And it's sad that that's the case. I wish there was more streamlined ways to do that.
Well, for me, for the longest time, consent means marriage. But I realized that that's not always the case because there could be assaults in marriage. Like if you don't want to do it, then you don't have to, because it's your body, your choice. And just because you're married to that person doesn't mean you're obliged to, follow through and do that with them. So I just have a vague idea of the whole subject because it's kind of like an untalked about topic in our religion. But just hopefully down the road, once we actually get to that point, then we gain more knowledge and education on it, so it could be a better experience for everyone.
We had been like dating. We met like first week of college and everything, and it was going all swell and everything. And then it was kind of getting to the point where you like assume would probably like start like kissing or like have sex and stuff like that. And I was starting to get really like anxious and nervous. Like, how am I gonna tell him? Not only that I'm a virgin, I guess I didn't really care that much since we were all like still young. But the idea of being like I don't want to really be physical with you really was eating at me. And the idea of having a conversation that's like intimate like that is always hard for anyone. And I didn't know how to bring it up to my partner at the time. And we were just like in his dorm room or whatever, and I just started like crying, and I was like, I don't like know how to tell you this, but like I like identify as asexual, and like if you don't want to be with me because I won't like have sex with you, like I understand. Like I like felt broken, which is
No, I mean, that's good. It's good that she brought it up straight to the front. And Jordan Peterson's talked about this too. I think you should not be willing to do an action that you're not willing to talk about to the person. And if you're not willing to, if you like she was saying a little bit earlier, she doesn't know how to bring it up, that she doesn't want to have sex or whatnot. You should have a good enough relationship with that person to be able to do that. And if you don't, then it shouldn't even be a topic that like you even consider. Like if you're not comfortable with them enough to have that conversation, when the time comes for it to be there, then you're not ready. Then it's not ready to happen. Don't let it happen. If you can, as much as you can.
Something that a lot of asexuals feel, but it's so not true. Like everyone is valid and everyone can be loved, and you don't have to have sex to be intimate with someone. And I just remember in that moment.
Very true. I feel like culture does not teach that, but very true. You don't have to have sex to be intimate with people. We're
Such a low point, and just always growing in communication from there on out. And I hope no one ever has to feel like they have to feel like someone won't love them because they won't want to be physical with them or something. So
never entirely had to deal with that, only on a few occasions. One in particular, I was just picking up a lunch pail from my friend from work, and we worked a different shift than the girl ahead of us. And I texted her like, hey, can you bring my friend's lunch pail over? And I knew she was into me just by the way she would look at me, and she would try and talk to me. I'm like, okay. And then we just ended up hanging out in her car. And we're just talking. That's just how I am. I just like to talk with people. Totally cool with that. And then I started poking her, just joking around. That's just how I am, She took my hand and she licked my finger.
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
COVID.
What do you think we're doing right now? We're just chilling. Like we're just like right after she.
I think that's dumb. I think the idea that he's over there, she's chilling out, they're chilling in the tar, just talking. This is what he normally does. And he's like, poke, 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 poke. And she's taking it as, okay, you're doing physical intimate. You're touching me. There's a physical connection there. And so she gives him a hint, like, hey, I wanna, do you? And then he's like, how dare you? Blah, blah, blah. That's a little bit like, not gaslighting, but kind of. It's like, don't be dumb. Why are you poking her? Don't poke her. Don't touch her.
She straight up told me that she wanted me to fuck her.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Legit like that. I was just like, I stopped looking at her. I sat in my chair. I was like, what? I was just like trying to process everything. Like, I thought we were just vibing and we're just chilling. And that was a turn on, but then also a turn off. It's like, that wasn't my intent for you to come over. I just needed to bring my friend's lunch pail.
Yeah.
And you just want to get it on like that. It made me feel a little weird around her because I thought we were like going to be friends. And then it was just a straight shot somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a solid, yeah. I like what he said. I just think the idea of him poking her was dumb in the first place. Why did you do that? But it is true, and this is something a lot of men don't talk about. Like, you can see he's laughing when he's talking about it because we are taught. It's like, oh, of course you're going to sleep with a girl. Why would you give up an opportunity to have sex with someone? Like, that's stupid. Are you gay? It's like, no. And it made him think differently about her, and it made him think differently about his interactions with her. Yeah, don't poke people. Don't do it.
I think it's interesting that if like a more femme person were to present the story, the narrative would be totally different. And I think that's really interesting to consider. Like, if a guy came onto a girl like that during like a lunch work thing, the circumstances would be so much different versus like we're kind of like laughing with you versus like.
No, I like that you said that because those kind of like biases pass us all the time. We never really realize them until someone brings it up. And you're absolutely right, because I totally would have changed the whole like the way I saw everything. I've been like, that's so scary.
It's just how
There's so much in life that if you switched it, you'd realize how hypocritical it was. I'm not going to name anything specific, but yeah, that was a great point. Breeze had some good points.
what is for the male, if you're more masculine, they expect you to always want sex all the time, but sometimes it's just not what you want to happen. And it's not really spoke about either when like you're a victim of like sexual assault as a man, or if you're more masculine. They're just gonna be like, oh, what was wrong with that situation? So it's like, it's
In that situation, like my friends, in a joking way, they would think something's wrong with me.
Exactly right. Especially, dude, if we go back like 1970s, 1980s, when kids would there was relationships with teachers, and everybody's like, oh, you're getting it on, bro, good job. It's like, no, that was pedophilia. That's all that was. No, the teacher was taking advantage of you. But it comes off differently when it's a man, because it's like, well, why wouldn't you want that? What's wrong? And we don't even consider what the man thinks.
As in, like, why didn't you do it? Like, are you gay?
Yeah.
I
For
literally
me, I
said
think
that.
they see it, or they have seen it, sex, as kind of just like a fun activity. But I see it as so much more.
you value it more.
Yeah,
Good.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like a good foundation first,
Yes.
where you guys have that trust and like that love embedded,
Exactly.
where it makes sense.
If we're gonna be doing this together, I have to feel like we're both in this together.
Yeah.
And
AKA marriage.
And like it goes even further than just that moment.
Yeah.
Cause
Right.
yeah.
It's not physical. It's like your soul connection. Your
Exactly.
souls connect, and you will connect forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's also important to note that not everyone agrees that it's a soul connection, and
Yeah, absolutely.
just opening the conversation
Oh, yeah.
about
Yeah.
people have different perceptions of it too. So I think
Absolutely.
that's important to note, and that's why there can also be like not equivalent forms of consent too. If someone like thinks of sex as something that's super important and spiritual and all that, but someone else is like, oh, it's just like exercising or
it's another
something.
dating thing.
It's just 3 p.m.
We put too much
Well,
importance.
she didn't finish that statement though. She was saying some people think of it as very, very big things. Some people throw it away. And I feel like our society in general throws it away. There's not, I mean, this is what we're getting to right now. We put too much importance on virginity. I think we do not. I think especially nowadays. We might have in the past put a lot of importance on it. I mean, it's not your life. It's not everything, but it's important. It makes you, especially if you're trying to get especially if you're trying to find a marriage partner, right? It doesn't cloud you with that lust and physical attraction, and especially if you are religious, it doesn't make you feel guilty and therefore have to stay because you did something like that, which happens all the time.
Important on virginity.
Yeah, I think there is too much of an importance on it. I think it's just going to be amazing, and this is how it's going to be.
Sorry, I'm actually really surprised not all the non-virgins walk forward on this one. I feel like that would be a important factor, actually. So
Everyone like talks it up. Everyone talks a big game about it, and sometimes it can be. I've had friends who say they're like going to wait for marriage, and they do, and then they tell me like that was it. Like that's what all the hype was about. And so then they're just like they've gone like their whole lives identifying with this one thing that they've never even really experienced. And then it's just like shattered. And they've taken on this identity for so long, then they're like, I don't know who I am. And like that's something a lot of my friends have struggled with. I feel like there's not enough conversation about how you feel after the fact if you are previously really tied to the concept of being a virgin.
So I'm like 50-50 on this. It should be importance on it, just for the fact that if you do slip and mess up, you can have a kid. And I guess that's a big thing for me is why I'm still a virgin, is that I'm not ready for kids yet.
Best way to not have a kid or get STDs is to not do it in the first place. Okay. I think what she said earlier is interesting, that some of these people wait so long and they identify with the idea of being a virgin that when they finally comes to the marriage bed, it's like, oh, what happened? It's not some amazing thing. I think that's actually more so that we just talk it up because it is something that is like, oh, don't do this until you're married. We get in our heads that, and I did, I did at certain points, but you get in your head that it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be some out of the world experience. And it's like, no, part of the reason why you should stay away from sex until you're married is obviously it's biblical. If you're religious, it's biblical. Second off, again, it doesn't cloud your vision. There's a chemical connection that you're made with the person. It's called, was it pair bonding? It's the same thing. That person, especially the first person you do it with, never leaves you. Never leaves you. You'll always remember that. Okay? Later on, you can kind of dilute it so much to where you don't even care anymore. But then that makes it more difficult for you to pair bond, to create a connection chemically with your brain with the person that you end up with. And then also, you don't want to have a kid. Dude, you don't want to have a kid out of wedlock. And you don't want to have a kid without somebody, without a partner that's there to push through with you. That's what we have massive amounts of single motherhood, single fatherhood rates in this country because of that. And I think it's one of the largest contributors to prisons, to just massive problems in our society.
And also with virginity, ever since like all the way to elementary school, I've heard girls losing their virginity, which is crazy for me to think. The joking adds to it. Like we all joke around with the topics and stuff, but it just adds to the importance that we view it. So
I hear what you're saying about like we maybe need to have the idea, like the word virgin or virginity, to have conversations about it. But when you think about it, there's so many things in life that we don't have like a label or a word for. Like even just thinking about like, oh, like having kissed someone. It's not like, oh, like let's come up with a word for someone who's kissed someone. Like I'm a sex haver, I'm a kiss haver. Like it's like even thinking about the idea of virginity, I think the importance that's put on it is like very toxic because it is talking about like usually the idea of like penis in vagina sex, and it's like like that sounds like really like stupid to say, like, but it is like what people's like I'd say mainstream notion of what is virginity, and it's like making this like pedestal of purity and this heteronormative experience of what is virginity, and I just think it's outdated and should be eradicated.
Right. I think
it's outdated. It's only been successful for the last 6,000-7,000 years, and then now it's out of date. Heteronormative. That's all that was. This heteronormative. That was dumb.
It very much like pushes forward the idea of purity culture. Because if you also look at the definition of virgin, it comes from sexually intact woman. And that's implying that it only happens to women. Only women can be virgins. And we know that's not true. I mean, right? I take issue with the fact that it also says sexually intact. Like as if you lose something and you're all of a sudden destroyed. And like, you don't lose anything. And like, it's still like a great experience.
Well, you do lose something. You lose, I mean, your hymen breaks. So that is a loss. And sexually intact, I think she's really digging for that one. You lose something, you'll lose your virginity. It's not like, oh, now you're worthless. That's not true at all. You still have a lot of worth. You're made in the image of God.
For both partners, hopefully. It's weird that we felt a need to put a label on that part of women who are sexually intact as opposed to someone bi.
Word things so perfectly.
Right.
It's hard for me to speak.
She could have chose so many different things, but she chose the word bi. She chose that as I'm not going to get into it.
I feel like I'm like word vomiting. So
No, it's perfect. I love it.
I think for me, when
Banana girl.
I don't know, just the environment that I grew up in, with how high school was, I felt like it was kind of like if you're a non-virgin, you're one of us. If you're still a virgin, it's just like you kind of forget that you exist. So that was sort of like my perspective on that.
Which is sad.
Yeah, I was listening and I was like, wow, that's really cool how you guys like think about that. For me personally, I think there is a huge importance on keeping your virginity. It's not more like you're a virgin or you're not, it's how you lose your virginity, and how you should, or we're supposed to lose our virginity is by being married. And so for myself, like I hold the same expectation for my future spouse, that because the same regulations apply to him, you know, he had to stay a virgin until marriage. And actually in our religion, like doing anything intimate, getting close to anything that goes without meaning, like hand holding or just like kissing or anything, all of those are strongly prohibited. And it's because
there's a saying my dad gave me, which has been a saying for a long time, and that's kissing leads to touching leads to sex. Like it's very, very quick. Very quick. And you don't believe it, just try it. You get very intimate when you're kissing. So
because it's all sin. If I fall in love with that person or if they come into my life and they're not a virgin, then it would be okay if they understand that that was a sin and they ask for forgiveness. Is how it works, basically.
I never knew all that. I guess this is just like an open-ended question. How have your...
Unless she was talking about like having sex is a sin, then sure. But if it's kissing and holding hands, then no, that's not. I don't think the Bible says that either.
Acceptance of virginity changed from when you were younger to where you are now? Like, is there any difference? Something new you learned?
Yeah, mine definitely has changed for sure. And I remember like around the time where, you know, I was debating about losing my virginity and stuff like that, I kind of ran into some people, you know, when I was online dating. Like as soon as I tell them, it's almost like they're kind of fetishizing me in a way where it's just like, you're a virgin? I'm ready to take that. And it's just like they're just trying to figure out like.
Isn't that funny? So here's a problem with society as well. And she's talking about it right there. As a man, or as a male perspective, the virgin is seen as like I'm gonna steal that. For whatever reason, in my high school, it was a thing where we called it trying out the freshmen, where for whatever reason the seniors, doesn't matter if it was male or female, but the seniors would sleep with as many freshmen as they could to make sure that they weren't virgins anymore. But then it's actually reversed, at least from what I've seen, where if you're a woman and you're with a virgin, it's seen as, they're inexperienced, so it's probably not going to be as good. It's like the hypocrisy there.
Like as soon as I have one date with them, they're just like trying to get it in. I'm just like, absolutely not. No, stay away. 6 feet apart.
Right.
Dude, that's absolutely what happens all the time. The first date as fast as you can. Why? Because that's all they want. That's all they're wanting. Those people that are trying to get into her in the first date, they don't care about you. They care about what you have to offer. And that's wrong.
I only asked that because I grew up Catholic, so I thought I was going to save myself for marriage too, and I grew up thinking it's going to be a beautiful, magical thing. It's only meant for my husband. And then it obviously just didn't work like that. And so after that happened, I kind of had a weird relationship with sex for a while But then it changed my perspective on it a lot, and I was like, it's just like a normal thing that people can do. And so I didn't really want to put it on a pedestal as much as I had before.
There's a lot of gray matter
Cognitive
when it comes
dissonance.
to virginity now. I know a person out there that she didn't want to be a non-virgin anymore.
It made you feel bad because it was wrong. It was against the Catholic code. It was against the Bible's laws in that case. And then what do you do to fix that? It made you feel bad. You had a weird interaction with sex because you knew it was wrong. And then what did you do to fix it? Instead of being like, I was wrong, I shouldn't do that again, and I should try to save myself, you cheapened it. You cheapened the idea of that. You look, once you lose your virginity, you lose your virginity. But you can be a virgin from that time until your next time. Okay, so it's not like the one thing, the initial thing is gone. But I can go, like for instance, in alcohol. If I'm drinking alcohol and I get to the point where I'm drinking too much, there can be a point where I go, okay, I'm done. I'm done drinking now until whenever. And I broke that I broke that initial like first sip of alcohol, and I drank a whole bunch. But I can stop until there comes another time. Obviously, with alcoholism, you shouldn't get back to the point where you have it. But in this case, in the virgin's case, you can stop having sex. You can stop having sex and wait until your husband.
She wanted to have sex, so she let him put in, do anal instead.
Actually, in our religion, doing anal is prohibited. It's like not allowed. So anal is not even anal is not allowed.
Also, I think that's like there's some other sects of religions that believe that it's not virginity. Dude, I'm not one of those. I think anal is sex.
But for me,
Anal
like
sex.
if you were to like lose your virginity, it would be a man and a woman having intercourse.
I have been judged for my sexual or non-sexual choices.
That should be everybody. I had somebody that I was interested in high school that told me she wouldn't date me because I was abstinent. And it's like, oh, okay. All right, I don't care about you either. I don't need your validation of yeah. I don't need us to have sex in order for me to be in a relationship with you to be a thing.
Can't do it.
I also obviously didn't have sex in high school, and so I was considered gay. Or they thought, oh, you were probably gay because he doesn't sleep with women. Like, why wouldn't you? It's like, dude, we all get judged for that.
Anything without being.
And I think, I'm sorry, I keep pausing. I think a lot of that, we get judged for, it's like group sin. And then when you're sinning or when you're doing something wrong or whatever, you want to bring as many people as possible into that influence, into that with you, so you feel less bad about it because everybody else is doing it. Why wouldn't you do it?
Where? There was times that even I judged, and then now I look at it, I was dumb, an idiot, because when I was judging, I was probably like in high school still, I was still immature. It was just very immature actions from me. And then now that I have hindsight with it, it makes me think like, why is their actions, their beliefs affecting my day?
This question gives me a lot of anxiety because like I have been like called like slut, like whore, like that doesn't bother me. But my experience is a little different because when I was assaulted and I started talking about it, I had to talk to my mom, and she kind of like asked me like, well, why did you like get in the car? Like, why were you at his house? And I guess like putting more of the blame on me, which is really difficult because she's my mom and she's like, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. She's like supposed to like take care of me and like uplift me, and it's just hard because I like go to her with this like huge thing that happened to me, and just for her to react like, why would you do that? It's like I don't understand like why that was my fault. And like everyone like always tells me like it's not your fault, and like I know that. It's just, it's hard. Like sometimes I'll get caught up in being like, oh, I guess it was my fault because I did choose to date him and like I did stay, but to my credit, like he was like mentally abusive and like sexually abusive, so I didn't know how to leave, and I grew up thinking like, oh, you date to marry, and so I wanted to make it work so badly, and so that's like why I stayed, and like I just wanted it to work out, and that's how like I was just taught. And so then like after the whole experience, I was like, I guess like I need to be able to like take care of myself and set my own boundaries and know when to leave. And it sucks I had to learn it the hard way, but at least I know now, and I know it's not my fault, and like it is like something that still sticks with me from time to time, but I'm learning how to like be better with it.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Probably have a different experience than most of you guys, or I guess all of you, but like with being so open about.
That's rough. That's rough. It's rough to even know what to say. It's like, because there's two sides to every, not two sides to every coin. There's problems on both sides. And guilt is what made her stay. Guilt for having done it, even though it was clearly like his. I mean, it was a sexual assault, is what that was. Yeah. Should she have been in the car with him, and should she have stayed with him? No, and she knows that. But it happened, and yeah, it's just sad. That happens all the time. Happens all the time.
Being asexual, like there's not many people who talk about it, especially online, even in real life and everything, and I feel like I've been like immensely judged for it, and even in my videos about being like asexual, primarily on TikTok, I get like so many death threats and people being like, you just can't have sex, like you're ugly, like you wouldn't get laid, like you're a blue-haired girl. Like even for me, like such a strong person, I feel like it's hard to get thousands of people telling you this is fake, and even for me sometimes it's like, is this fake? Like everyone else feels this way, why do I feel this way? And sometimes even for me it can get like hard and be like, damn, like am I broken? Which I know is not true at the end of the day, but
Yeah, I think for me, I've been judged by like society or like my peers that, oh, she's a virgin, like why, like, you know, type of thing. But it's just like the Western point of view or whatever that like, oh, you never had to first kiss, like why haven't you kissed anyone yet or something like that. And I was like, oh, well, not allowed to, not supposed to, you know, like I don't know, like, and that's just like growing up, it was just harder to explain that, and it was just harder for me to explain like accept that about myself. But then, you know, as you grow older and you understand that people are just different, and you just hold yourself true to your values, then you understand yourself more, you know? So I feel like I have definitely been judged, but I feel like if I were not to be, like, God forbid I wasn't a virgin or something like that, or if I have done something, I would have been judged, especially like people, like in the culture and the religion, they would judge me for doing such and such, you know? So it's just like on both ends, like you'll be judged either way.
I've been questioned if I'm gay, even from my own parents.
What did I say? Oh, from his own parents. That's so wrong. That's so sad. That's so sad that happens. But this guy keeps saying what I keep saying. It's like I was questioned if I was gay because I wouldn't sleep with people. And she was right. She was right. You're going to be judged either way. People don't like difference. They don't like opposites. They don't like if you're a virgin and the other person is not a virgin, well, it's like, oh, you messed up. If you're not a virgin and the other person's a virgin, it's like, oh, well, you too good? Are you too good? Or is there something wrong with you? Is there something wrong with you? That's a view I feel like a lot of men have with women that are virgins. It's like, oh, well, like the blue girl, she was saying that people were complaining, oh, nobody would ever sleep with you, whatever. But it's bullying is all it is. But it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like what they can't have. And so rather than just accept that, they're going to belittle it to make it seem like it's not their fault, if that makes any sense.
You too. Sure. It doesn't really bother me. I've always been, even with my friends, I've always been very open on my sexuality, and I'm a virgin. And like, they've been really cool about it. Like they would joke about it, but just as friends, but never really like poked me hard enough to where like, dude, we're making fun of you because we just don't like
Yeah.
the way you are. They've always been really cool about it. So I think just the way I've carried myself with that oh yeah, I'm a virgin. Like I'm not telling everybody, but just the way it is. They've always been pretty cool about it. But from a judgment standpoint, they've always it's always been in a joking way.
In a joking way.
Yeah.
Because it's not the biggest.
It's in a joking way, but yeah, I think he knows that's like semi-true. I think sometimes it can be in a joking way. Other times it's like looking down on him because, again, is he better than them for waiting? I don't know. Yeah. What he was saying earlier with the whole like, as he was growing up, he was being called gay because he didn't have sex with people. I've said this a couple times too. I know I knew I was straight, but I was told it so much that when I came out of high school, I didn't even date. I wasn't allowed to date until I was like 18. And as soon as I got out of high school, I wanted to prove myself. No, you're not gay. And I knew I wasn't gay, but it was like, no, you're not gay. You can get girls. And I ran into the first relationship I possibly could. And after 3 months, I learned two things. I learned that I'm not going to be able to say no to sex because I'm not emotionally mature enough. And second off, it was annoying me because I wanted to do my own things, and she would text me, and I would literally take the phone and flip it upside down. Just ignore it. So I was able to verify to myself that, yes, I can, in fact, get girls. But it was dumb. I should have just been confident in what I've been building up throughout my life, which was I'm not going to sleep with somebody until I get married, and I'm going to look for marriage in my dating experiences. That's the point of dating. And I personally still think it's the point of dating. And now I'm happily married. So, yeah, heavy subject. Heavy subject is not talked a lot about. It's not talked a lot about in schools. It's not talked a lot about in parents. And I think it's very important. I think it's important, and not just from a religious perspective, even though it is wrong according to the Bible, and according to the Quran, and a lot of the other religions too, actually. But it's also a physical thing. And if you're, just preventing from sexual diseases, preventing from kids you don't want to have in single parenthood, preventing from the chemical pair bonds that you get with the chemicals that release in your head when you're having sex, from being able to create, even if you're not a religious person you're trying to marry, not to have that physical intimacy cloud your vision on whether you want somebody or not. Whether you want to live for the rest of your life with somebody. It's a massive decision. Don't let anything cloud it. But, all right. This has been a very long video. But, yeah. Thank you guys for watching.